Hello everyone and welcome to Big Talk here on Global Television, and of course a program where we'll take a look at the different developments and trending in the world of politics, and of course in the highlight of the development so far in the country. But today on the program we'll be taking the look at development in Kano State. As the latest is that the Kano State Police Command is in dilemma over the number of court orders it has received on the Emirate crisis rocking the state. The command said the conflicting court order directives have created a complex situation and consequently appealing to the media for support in navigating the emirship tussle. The Commissioner of Police, Ms. Usani Gumel, made the call during a meeting with the heads of media organization in Kano yesterday. The CP revealed that the command had received 5 different court orders from federal and state high court regarding the emirship dispute and has forwarded them to the Minister of Justice for interpretation. In his word, I can quote, "I have forwarded the 5 court orders related to the emirship tussle to the Inspector General of Police, who has subsequently contacted the Minister of Justice for clarification and interpretation. We are currently awaiting guidance on which order to comply with, as the conflicting court directive have created a complex situation." Joining me on Big Talk to dissect the issues in Kano and the conflicting court orders and the matters arising from Kano State is my guest, Jaffa Sani Bello, a politician and a 2-time gubernatorial candidate in Kano State, aspirant in Kano State, who is vested and has the knowledge of the emirship leadership and the tussle between the 15 emirship and the 16 emirate. I'm talking of Muhammadu Sanusi, who have just been reinstated by Governor Yusuf of Kano State. Good evening and welcome to the program, Doctor.
Thank you very much, sir.
I mean, quite a lot of issues to take a look, but let's begin to have a foundation of give us an understanding of what the Emirate looks like. It seems many people are accusing that this is a fight between one family.
Well, absolutely. If you take into perspective the issues and happening in Kano, you'll understand that it's more of a political tussle or an issue of personal vendetta that has enmeshed and drawn the Emirate of Kano by the current government of Kano State, which has vowed to truncate or reverse all the things that the previous administration has done. And it's quite glaring to see that these things are not born out of the expectations and the wishes and aspirations of the people of Kano, but more or less the aspirations and wishes of a political gladiator. It baffles someone to come to terms with what Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, Senator, said when he was interviewed on BBC Hausa the following day that the issue emanated, and he claimed ignorance of what has transpired. But later on, PR Nigeria was able to lay its hands on an audio recording of him giving directives of how to go about this issue. Fundamentally, he alleged in that interview that in 2011, the late Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado Bayero, may his soul rest in peace, did not support them in 2011. He supported his rival, Malam Ibrahim Shekarau, the Sardauna of Kano, and that at that time, he did not take any action against him. And secondly, that how could they that are in Madobi local government that are just 25 kilometers away from Kano city center be taken to Karai? Instead of that, why shouldn't they have been moved to either Kura or Rano? So these are the 2 motives that have driven this action, and then not ruling away or ruling out the inducement of material and financial inducements, benefits, because a week to this action that was taken within 24 hours by the State House of Assembly, brand new SUV vehicles were procured to them at almost the tune of 3 billion naira. There are theories that have been advanced here and there, that those vehicles were procured by the emir, deposed emir, Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, and then the government, that these are theories that are making wave within so many channels and outlets, and then the government deducted the same amount from the treasury, claiming to have purchased the vehicles for the state assembly members. And on seeing that, the deposed emir, Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, realized that the balls are in his grasp and that action must be taken. And when he voiced it out, within 48 hours, everything dramatically changed. The State House of Assembly received a request from the state governor to amend or abrogate the law establishing the new Emirate councils and revert to the former one. And within 24 hours, without a public hearing, without consultations with constituencies, this action was unanimously taken and the decision was passed. And that very day, the governor assented his signature to the bill that was passed by the State House of Assembly.
So
and that very day, the governor gave the emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, 48 hours to vacate. It's not surprising. We have an errant governor in Kano State.
I mean, there are some persons that are arguing that the politicization of the stool, started from Ganduje, the moment where Sanusi was removed. Some are arguing that removal of Sanusi was a bit political, and this is a payback from Governor Yusuf. Can you give us an understanding of how the removal of Sanusi can be linked to the situation right now?
People that are advancing such arguments are being utterly unfair to Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. No governor in Nigeria, this can go back to pre-independence and post-independence. No political leader will be able to stomach insubordination from a traditional ruler. We have seen several cases of that. We have seen that on the emir of Gondu. We have seen that on the grandfather of Sunusi Lamido Sunusi with Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna. We have seen that in tussles in the southwest. We have seen that in tussles in the southeast. Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, when he was governor, after appointing Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, within 6 months, he issued him with two queries. Two queries, meaning that he wouldn't have been able to stomach the excesses of Sunusi Lamido Sunusi for 6 years, which Ganduje did. He issued him a query, one, for making high-ranking appointments in the Emirate Council without consulting him. He issued a query to him, secondly, immediately after promulgating a law banning begging, street begging in the state. The following week, Sunusi Lamido Sunusi had beggars in front of his palace and he was issuing them arms. And the governor queried him on that. And his response to that was that nobody will tell them what to do with their money. And this is the same person that came and made a treasury of the Emirate Council with about 4 billion naira and squandered it on internet and frivolous travels.
He was a former CBN governor, so he might probably had his own money.
If he has his own money as a former CBN governor, will he have up to 4 billion naira? How much has he earned in his salary?
But
he had 4 billion naira in the treasury, and this was quoted in an article written by Jafar Sadiq that goes by the pen name Jafar, when he wrote an article, a word for Emir Sunusi Lamido Sunusi on the 8th of April 2017. He's the editor of Daily Nigeria. Wrote another word for Emir Sunusi on the 15th of April 2017. And all the allegations he labeled against Sunusi Lamido Sunusi have not been challenged up till today. The conversion of fixed deposit account into regular accounts, the transactions between sanctioned Berudi change, the transaction between tour operators, the transaction between the purchase of luxury items, items that show opulence. You understand what I'm saying? And this is somebody that has always preached what he doesn't practice. So in tandem, what we should understand is that it is a personal vendetta of Kwankwaso to settle scores with the former emir of Kano State, may his soul rest in peace, Alhaji Ado Bayero, who did not support him in 2011, as he alleges. But everybody in Kano State knows that late Emir Ado Bayero has been unpartisan, and especially when it comes to election, he comes out in election day to encourage people to come out to vote, but he invalidates his ballot paper himself because he lifts it up and everybody sees that he does not have a choice. He has not thumbprinted any political party and he will drop it into the ballot box. And this is the kind of person that you are alleging that did not support you. And after all, if put it, give it, and take it, conceding without accepting that the late Emir Alhaji Ado Bayero did not support him when he was aspiring to come back as a governor in 2011. But the late Emir Ado Bayero has done great service to his family because he uplifted them from village rulership to a district rulership. He was the one that elevated his father to the district head of Modobi. At least that should have given him some concession. That should have cancelled out whatever grievances he has against the late Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado Bayero. Now, to transfer this aggression onto his son is despicable, embarrassing, and totally uncalled for.
There are some people that have accused desperation on the side of Bayero, that for him to rush the court to get an order stopping the reinstatement of Sanusi was quite, a lot of desperation. That during Sanusi's deposing, he left the palace quietly. So why the noise? Why creating, a lot of noise, going to court, running out of scatter, looking for help from the NSA? We've also pointed fingers of, even the deputy governor, pointed fingers to the office of the National Security Advisor of giving assistance to the Bayero to come back to Kano and all of this. So is it out of desperation that, Bayero is trying to get his place in the palace?
There is nothing that indicates any act of desperation. It is indicating the actual act of one knowing his civic responsibility and civil rights. Let me give you an example. When Sunusi Lamido Sunusi was deposed, he was deposed for insubordination, embezzlement and misappropriation of funds. And he has never challenged that, but he went ahead to challenge his banishment to Awe in Doma. So as it stands now, all the charges and counts that were leveled against Sunusi Lamido Sunusi persist up to present day because he has never challenged them. But those that he knew he could challenge, he went to court to challenge his banishment to Awe, which the court says is in violation of his fundamental right. So when Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, the Emir of Kano, realized what was taking place and what was happening, in fact, it is not him. It is one of his council members, in the person of Alhaji Aminu Babadang Agundi, the Sarkin Doaki Baba of Kano State, that went to court for an enforcement of his fundamental right. These personalities, with due respect and humility, are civil servants. You cannot just level accusations without leveling accusations, without making committees, without making fact findings, just decide to take actions on them that are inappropriate. So he is going to court to prove to the world that he has done nothing wrong for the government to have taken such a sudden action against him. And the fact remains that if the new emirates that were created were abolished due to the abrogation of the law that established them, was the Emirate of Kano abolished? Could that have brought about a vacancy in the stool of Emir of Kano State? The abrogation of a law that established 4 new Emirate councils, does that law, does the abrogation of that law indicates a vacancy in the stool of Emir of Kano State? Because the abrogation of that law does not abolish the Emirate of Kano State. So how do you remove the Emir without any fault of misconduct, without him violating any term on his appointment letter?
But the exercise was carried out by the House of Assembly of Canada.
What?
The exercise was carried out by this.
The decision cannot be carried out by the State House of Assembly. All the actions of public officers should reflect the views and aspirations of the people that they are sent to represent. In doing that, they should have carried out a public hearing. They should have carried out a town hall meeting and consultation with their constituencies, which none was done. None was done. They just went into the assembly, did the first reading, did the second reading, and said the vote has been passed. And they did that by voice vote. There should have been a division in the House so that the bill, for it to be abrogated, should have a support of 2/3 of the members of the House of Assembly present.
Those members are representing constituencies and the aspiration of the people of Kano.
If they are representing constituencies and aspirations of the people of Kano, did they go back, as the Constitution has provided, for them to hold public hearing, for them to accept and have oral hearing, and for them to accept and investigate and interrogate written submissions? Have they done that? They have not done that. They acted out of personal inducement and personal enrichment. That's all.
I mean, some people have accused Kwankwaso that his fingers is in all of these.
Of course, absolutely. There is no accusation. He said it in an interview that he granted the BBC in Hausa that he doesn't know what was going on. But later on, PR Nigeria found out audio recordings of him giving directions of what to do and what not to do with regards to this Emirate issue. And then in that same audio, he reflected back that even in 2011, the Emir of Kano, late Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, did not support him, did not vote for him, supported his opponent in the person of Mala Ibrahim Shekaru Sardauna Kano, and he did not remove him as at that time. And it's because he knows he cannot remove a mystic personality of that standing in the person of the late Alhaji Ado Bayero of blessed memory. And he went further to add that his local government, Madobi, has been excised from Kano, which they are only 25 kilometers away, and they have been moved to Karai instead of even rather being moved to Kura or Ranu. So he has brought out the two motives plainly.
Are the people of Kano happy with the situation right now?
How can the people of Kano be happy? These people are agitating and advancing the notion that, or the narratives that, it has been their campaign promise. Where in their campaign, throughout the 44 local governments they have toured, that they have stood on a podium and said to the people that when we come, we are going to abrogate this Emirate Council, we are going to abolish them, and we are going to remove the Emir of Kano. Where have they made such a statement?
I mean, a common
and after all, how many votes were they able to garner? They were only able to garner about 1 million votes, Kano with a population of over 20 million people. So for them to have done such a thing, they did it in order to score a point to balance out their vengeance as a revenge mission. Nothing more, nothing less.
Are you more worried that this tool, the politicization of this tool, therefore means that any government that comes into power will also want to exercise its SEM? I mean, which will ultimately alter the motive of having, such a traditional institutions.
No, absolutely. With the approach that is being taken now by the chieftains of the Emirate Council, I don't think we will have a repeat of such, because one of the cardinal principles or one of the cardinal processes that has led to stabilization in the issues of traditional stools and traditional rulership in the eastern and southwestern part of the country is that once their rights are violated, or once the process and procedures of appointing a traditional chief has not been followed, they have always rushed to the courts for succor. And that has tremendously contributed to bringing about sanity in the process that these things are done. I believe it will come to our turn. This kind of actions will indicate to any person that will come after these people that people are now aware, very much aware of their rights, and they can seek redress if they believe that processes and procedures and rule of law have been violated. They can still approach the court for redress. And no governor would like to see himself meddling in affairs that will take his time, resources. Just look at it. For over 4 nights, the governor of Kano, the errant governor of Kano, has turned himself into a security guard, sleeping overnight at the Emir's palace to provide protection for somebody he wants to install as the Emir of Kano. Look at how the office of the governor of Kano has been decimated too. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has succeeded in decimating the office of the governor of Kano because he has someone he touts and sees as his errand governor.
But the people of Kano elected him to office. I mean,
if the people of Kano elected him as governor, he should start answering his name and title Abba Kabir Yusuf, Executive Governor of Kano, not Abba Kabir Yusuf, errand Governor of Kwankwaso of Kano.
All right. Before this issue of where Sanusi was deposed, I mean, some person are arguing that it is already an internal family crisis. I mean, of the family itself. Because before the matters is out there, it therefore means that conflicting interests are already in the house where people want to get down the other person just to get to to the head. So do you feel there is an ongoing internal crisis in the family which have also ultimately generated all of these crises?
What is new about that? There's nothing new about that internal squabbles for power. It's just a tussle and internal squabbles for power. It is what you have in the United Kingdom.
Is it ought to be in a traditional
royal family? Is it not what you have now in the United Kingdom royal family? Isn't there a tussle between the two brothers? Isn't there one trying to draw the other one down? It's a natural thing. So people aspire, and there is nothing wrong with aspiration. But these things have not come to the forefront. These things have remained quite unobvious. People have not been discussing these issues not until recently. Not until recently. It is the action and the drama that the present administration in Kano has brought to bear. You understand? Glaringly stripping the people of Kano naked before the global view.
To you, do you feel there was a way Ganduje would have managed Sanusi's?
Nobody can manage Sunusi. Nobody can manage Sunusi. If, with due respect and apologies, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan couldn't manage Sunusi, who else could? Nobody can manage Sunusi. Kwankwaso himself cannot manage Sunusi. I told you, within a span of 6 months, he have queried him twice for insubordination. He went ahead to elect chieftains of the Emirate Council without consulting the governor. He went ahead to start to engage in the giving of arms and bringing about beggars after the governor has enacted a law prohibiting such an act. Nobody can contain him. He is a kind of person that believes that wisdom and intelligence and intellectualism begins and ends with him. Let me give you an example. While he was the emir of Kano, the local government of Ambata decided to come up with a law that would do away with the trinkets involved in marriage. He criticized that law. He called for its suspension. And after about 6 months, he himself presented his own marriage bill. Look at this. This is somebody that only realized that a great majority of Nigerians don't use diesel to power their generators. He only realized this in 2012. Only realized this in 2012. Nobody can contain him. His excesses are just beyond anything what any normal human being that is in an elected position and that is in a position of authority, which by constitution the emir is regarded by protocol to be under the chairman of the local government. He is domiciled. No governor can contain such excesses of insubordination. So Ganduje was able to contain him for 6 years, which I believe Kwankwaso wouldn't have been able to contain him for 1 year, going with the fact that within 6 months, he have issued him with 2 queries.
I mean, there is a popular saying, when 2 elephants fight, the grass happens to suffer. The issues quite there in Kano, if not well managed, might be escalate to the point of a crisis. And as one of the popular states we have in this country, we are keeping a look at the fact that this is well managed by all the stakeholders. This would be another part of a discussion. What is the way forward in all of this in Kano State? What are the stakeholders? What should be the role of stakeholders from the presidency in intervention? There are also several calls that the state of emergency should also be declared in Kano. Should that incite that move by the presidency? What should be the contribution so as to address some of these issues? Because other regions and other traditional institutions are keeping a look to know what it looks like for the Emirate leadership tussle in Kano State. We'll discuss these and more shortly after this break. Do stay with us. How many thanks for also stay with us. We are taking a look in the big talk on the program today, the issues in Kano State, the tussle, the many conflicting court orders that even the CP, the Commissioner of Police, have actually said that him himself is confused on which to obey. We've also had issues where it looks as if there have been intervention by the presidency or the federal government itself in all of this, and what the IG, the Inspector General of Police, is actually saying. Many people have accused the IG and the National Security Advisor to also be intervening these on the side of the 15th Emir of Kano. And for the fact that Governor Yusuf is standing so strong to defend his signature about giving back Sanusi to the palace. This has also sparked a concern among those who are not in any way taking this action by the Governor Yusuf very lightly. But in all of these, what should be the way forward? What should be the move by the federal government to arrest these situations, and so that if it's not well managed, may get escalated out of hand? And we are concerned that for Kano to go into crisis is another issue for the country as we speak. But let me get to my guests who, of course, is still here on the program to dissect these issues. Talk about, they are being concerned that the presidency should declare state of emergency in Kano. Has it escalated to that point? Do you feel that if this is being given, if this order is being given, it might truncate, the powers of the governors in Kano, and may also alter some of the, movements so far?
No, the issue is the governor did what he has no powers to do. The governor did what he has no powers to do. Democracy is about the rule of law. And once you eliminate the aspect of rule of law, you have tyranny, you have dictatorship. So the governor, the errant governor, is supposedly a sub-dictator answering to the clarion instructions of the master dictator. There are process and procedures. It is the Constitution and it is the rule of law that says elect a governor. And when you elect the governor has the powers to appoint commissioners and to do so and so. The Constitution has clearly spelled out the roles and responsibilities of the office of the governor. In discharging that responsibility, the governor took an oath that he will not allow his personal interest influence his public and official decisions. And throughout this dilemma, by any standard, through any angle, by any position you look at this dilemma, you can clearly see the personal interest of the governor, errant governor, and his godfather. You can clearly see that. It is evident. So the way forward here is for respect for the rule of law. There are conflicting court orders, but there are a plethora of cases that have been decided by the Supreme Court that wherever there are conflicting orders of courts with concurrent jurisdiction, the one that precedes takes precedence. That has been decided. And the argument that some certain quarters are advancing that the Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction in entertaining the matters of chieftaincy affairs is completely flawed. It's flawed because any issue that is brought under the purview of the Federal High Court under the issue of fundamental human right, the Federal High Court has jurisdiction to entertain this matter. And the Federal High Court, in issuing that order, stated in that order that on the 3rd, when the parties return, they should show cause and jurisdiction.
All right, Honorable, we'll go on a quick break, and once we return, we'll also make more deliberations on that issues and to know the way forward for the people of Kano and the Kano state itself. To stay with us. All right, I'm still having Honorable Sani Bello, of course, a politician from Kano, giving us an insight on what it looks like for the way forward regarding the tussle in Kano Emirates crisis. Let's take a look at what is district heads. What are the position of the district head? What are the position of the council members who consider? I understand that about 5 of them were affected in the course of this edition by Governor Yusuf and the House of Assembly. To them, how do they feel and how do they receive these news?
You see, the issue is what errant governor Abba Kabir Yusuf did.
He's the governor of Kano State.
He's the governor of Kano State, but he's acting on the dictates.
There are no evidence to further confirm
No,
that. So let's not go on that issue.
Let's not delve into that issue, but it's obvious and glaring. Everybody knows that. The abrogation of the law that established the new Emirate Council abrogates the district heads and the chiefs that were appointed by such Emirate councils. And I think going forward, the president needs to act. He needs to call Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to order. That, look, I'm the president of this country, and your gross with the late Emir of Kano, your gross that your local government has been excised from Kano to another Emirate Council of Karai, should not form the basis to plunge one of the most populous states in the country I govern into crisis. It's needless. There is no basis for that. And it is better you go back and respect the rule of law. It is the courts that passed a judgment, a verdict, that Abba Kabir Yusuf is the duly elected governor of Kano. They respected that court's verdict. But in a second twist, a court of competent jurisdiction issues an order, and they're failing to comply with that order. And once it is given and is taken for granted to obey and enforce the orders of our courts, then we become a society without a rule of law, and what will ensue thereafter will be anarchy, because the Nigerian masses and Nigerian citizens will be made to lose hope in the last bastion of hope that they have in this country, which is the judiciary. No matter their shortcomings, the judiciary still remains the last bastion of hope for Nigeria's common man. So eroding that with the act and actions, acts of omission or commission that were undertaken or taken by the governor of Kano State will inimically affect the stability, progress, and development of our country.
There are some that are also concerned about the issue of the Governor Yusuf have been a victim of the court. I mean, he was once sacked after emerging in the elections until part of those processes was quite restored. And he has pointed fingers to the fact that the presiding judge that gave that first judgment trying to restrain him from giving appointment letter to Sanusi was not in the country, and such court proceedings and other wasn't the way forward. So you're talking about the rule of law. I mean, what are the influences of these of this judiciary in Kano State? What does it look like for us to have generating about 5 different court orders?
You see, incidentally, by acts of coincidence, the same judge that gave that order, which they are alluding to the fact that he was out of the country, did not give an order in my case with Mohammed Abacha with regards to the primary election in Kano that was conducted, which he came first, and I challenged his membership, not being a member of the political party. He delivered that judgment while he was away in the US, in California. We went on appeal, and that was part of our grounds of appeal. We lost that appeal. We went up to the Supreme Court, and that formed part of our appeal, and we still lost. And people are here arguing that somebody is elsewhere and he is signing orders. With the age of technology now, if you don't simplify the processes of adjudicating cases, how do you fast track the delivery of justice? He is out of the country, granted. A process was taken to his court in Kano. This process was scanned and sent to him. He read it wherever he is and passed his judgment and signed, assented to it and granted an order. Is that not a process that has fast-tracked the delivery of justice? Is it a process that has hindered the delivery of justice? I believe this is a process that has fast-tracked the delivery of justice.
Maybe his argument might be the fact that he's linked up to former Governor Ganduje, the judge.
How can he be linked up? Then they need to prove that fact. They need to come up with evidences and facts to prove it. It is proven that Ganduje sacked Emir Sunusi, dethroned him, on the basis of gross misconduct, misappropriation of funds, embezzlement, insubordination. It's a fact, because he never challenged those allegations, those accusations that were leveled against him, which he was found guilty of. He never challenged it in court.
So Yusuf does not
but
have
he
evidence.
challenged his banishment to Awe. So the fact that he has...
All right.